things that I've seen have been theft-related issues. Outside of assaults, it's theft. The two biggest things that are problems out here are burglaries and vehicle thefts. Just to give some suggestions on those, something very basic, something we all know. Don't leave keys in cars. I've come across that quite a bit where, people have said, I've lived here for 20 years. It's never been an issue. I leave the keys in the cars and, next thing you know, the car's gone. So just a consideration for you guys, being that vehicle theft is one of the largest crimes that occurs out here. Don't leave the keys in the cars. Secondly, we live in the day and age of, where everyone has their own 3D printers, laser technology. Car thefts, while oftentimes it's just a thing of opportunity where they just nab a car, whatever it is, oftentimes there's more sophisticated guys who can easily then switch a car, trade all labels in the car, stuff like that. And so even a deputy who's been on for a while, they stop the car and they get it falsely registered. They wouldn't even be able to know that the car's been stolen. So, just a consideration, get an AirTag and throw it in there. Something that I've seen only in the 12 years I've working, only 2 people that have done, and we've recovered them out in Harupa Valley because they had the AirTags in them. There's also a lot of other ways that we do that, but just a consideration for you guys. Also, from my experience out here with all the burglaries that have occurred, most of them have been when people are away from their properties or the property owner, it's their secondary home, right? And they get a call from their neighbor that somebody's breaking in or something of that nature. So being that it is tied for second with car thefts, just vigilance on your guys' part. When you leave your home or whatever it is, it's kind of interesting coming from Harupa Valley. It seems to be that everyone had a video surveillance system, either on their home or a Ring camera system on their door. Coming out here, it's actually not everyone has it, which is really interesting. So just a consideration, put some camera systems on your home. Just stay vigilant. And, there's nothing says guilty like someone's face on a video recording on someone else's yard. So that's kind of what we do, kind of the 2 major issues that are in your guys' area. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you guys still on my site? Because I used to have sheriff on my site and I don't hear anything. Every time I text, I'm like, no, I don't hear anything. So yeah, because we all know, I've been telling my people, post. If you know something, put it on the site so people can see this is going on. I know you guys know what's going on up of Empty Saddle, up from Red Mountain, from Oak Glen Road, back,
Right.
Red Mountain Dirt Park, and Sable Road, back.
Right.
With
So part of
Jody
that-
Clark and her clan, not Willie, he's gone. Randy Nelson, and so on. Now everybody knows their names and they're posting it. Are you guys doing anything about them?
So I'd be more than happy to talk, after this about specific
okay.
things and things of that nature, just to, keep things
I looked
confidential
behind me
and
to
people
make sure there was
confidential, right?
no one there from that clan.
But you're right. Part of that vigilance is
It's the same dudes.
that when something is consistently occurring, to make note of it and to obviously alert it to our presence. A lot of the things that we do take time and take investigative work, and when you're noting and
They're noting, all right.
well, when you're making the reports to us, that things are happening at a certain time, it's easier for us to make enforcement of those things that are occurring, right? So
It's just people are afraid. They give it to me and it's like, go anonymous. Put it on the site.
exactly,
Go
and that's why
anonymous.
those resources.
And that way the cop will see that.
But
I don't hear
If
anybody.
there's a problem, posting it on your website obviously gets your neighbors to know what's going on and be vigilant.
The idiots are not
But
on there. I
Even
tried.
if we see it,
Mm.
say, I wonder if they reported that. We're not going to respond to something that's a post on a social media page. So I would recommend that if there's somebody knows a crime has
They
occurred,
won't do it.
well, and then
I tried.
Sergeant James brought up the WeTip. WeTip is like WE-TIP. I believe it's a website where you can go on there and report a crime anonymously. And for the city, not even the city, this whole area that Hemet Station covers, We actually get them from City of Hemet as well. For this area, they come to me.
Okay.
So depending on what, I'll read it, see what they're reporting, and if it has something to do with the mountain, I'll send it to Sergeant James and his partner. If it has something to do with the mountain and drugs, I'll send it to them as well as the set team. If it's marijuana related, I'll send it to Sergeant
I
Parsons.
haven't heard that for a long time.
What's that?
The pot. No one talks about it anymore. It's now the thievery that's going on in the area.
Well, they might be related.
Okay? Oh,
But-
oh, maybe. You're right.
So for your neighbors or, who want to report things but don't want their name out there.
They give it to me.
As long as in the weed tip, you can put, drug activity at whatever location. But if you say drug activity in Sage, nothing's gonna be done about that because we don't know where to go. But if you put an address or names, descriptions of vehicles, what you've seen occurring, even if we can't contact you because you can be anonymous with no name or whatever, or no phone number, no contact information, the more you give us, the more likely we can solve your problem. And that's pretty much.
Well, that's a good point, Elaine. I mentioned this at one of the earlier meetings with the community that's having very similar problems. I don't mind if you, as neighbors, are sharing information. I think that's good that the community knows. But you have to know things. We don't start until you tell us something is going on.
And remember
That's how our
that?
investigation starts.
I do have a guy that kept telling me, and I said, you told me. Tell him to call me, to send me a message. And he wouldn't do it. It's like, dude, I can't do it for you. You've got to tell him. I don't want to talk to anybody. Well, I can't help you then.
Sure.
And
Now you're
that's the
feeling
hard
our
part.
frustration.
Again.
Now you're feeling our frustration.
Yeah, it's just very.
I have a problem. What is it? I can't tell you.
Yeah, you can't tell me. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I have the same people over and over telling me, dude, put it on the site, on their site. And they don't. And I even said, and I gave him his email. He wouldn't do it.
Well, and another, related to that, and I spoke about it before, it's Sergeant James and 2 deputies, and it, rotates, but there's 3 people for this huge area. So, response times and things like that, depending on where they're at, could be quite long. What we're trying to do at Hemet Station with Captain Mendez is gather support from community members and to go to the Board of Supervisors and meet with them and explain why we need more people, and that includes up here on the mountain.
Do you still have the volunteer guy, John Vendela?
Yes,
Does he
he's still around.
still come up here?
He's around, yes.
He doesn't come up here anymore?
Yeah, that leads us into another conversation. We can talk about volunteers in general, but we're always looking for support in that realm. Volunteers in John's group have kind of dwindled a little bit, and that happens from time to time, but look, get the community together, start supporting one another, join the volunteer program or a certain program or something that kind of invigorates the community, right? There's a lot of problems here that are going on. We're worried about this housing complex and the next fire season and the thefts that are occurring, all these things. The only way that I know how to make this stronger is that everybody comes together and starts participating a little bit. And I know you mentioned to me in the past about how a lot of things land on your shoulders, right? You need some help with that. So if there are other community members out there that would be willing to take a piece of that and help out, it's better for
If I were a Jew, and if I were younger, I would do it. What he's
Those
doing.
are 2 things that are against you right now. You're not a dude and you're not.
Exactly, and I'm too old to go driving around, and my husband would kill me if I did. Now,
Yes,
if I
take him with
put my sidekick over here, we'd probably do it well, but we're too old.
She goes to bed too early.
You can do it in the afternoon.
Annie Ashby leads the volunteers up in Anson, and she's 82.
Really?
So.
Does she still, does she cruise in
What
the car?
excuse did you use a minute ago? Something like
What?
See, you're a spring chicken.
Yeah, woo.
I have a question about the with the fire season and the for potential evacuation, are there numbers listed for people who have animals? They need to evacuate animals or
Yeah, so
whatever?
it's a huge cooperators meeting that I go to several times a year. And we have everyone from like Rains that can come out and help with horses, animal control, of course, and many other.
I don't like
types of
animals.
entities. Well,
I have dogs, but I don't like
when
animals.
we're in the middle of a fire, it doesn't really matter to me what the name of the entity is.
Yes,
So
trust me,
I need trailers, trucks, and drivers.
okay,
Right?
that's all I
And they
need.
usually cooperate with like Galway Downs, and we can have horses and large livestock transported
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Whatever. We'll make those arrangements, right? If we have that information up front. Very often people stay home for their animals. I understand that to an extent. I have large animals myself. The challenge is that I'm responsible for you, the human life. It has to come first. I love your dogs too. I love my dogs, but I promise you, my sons or my wife or whatever, they're not expendable like my German Shepherd is. I'm throwing in a bad guy and he can go to work, and if that dog is killed during that event, it is what it is, right?
I'll
So
say
I
the
wanna make
animals,
sure-
sorry. The animals are my children. I have other children, so they are my children.
And I understand that, I'm just explaining, you're my priority, not your animals. I have to take care of you first.
Well, the last fire, I didn't leave. I stayed until some help came and we evacuated the animals. Otherwise, I was not.
If you're asking what the best thing to do is, and Frank, correct me if I'm wrong,
And I know he wants.
you see a fire in your area, you can call 911 and say, hey, this is my address, I have large animals, I'm gonna need a trailer to evacuate. They put that information,
Really?
and it's, nobody's gonna show up in 5 minutes at your door,
No.
but then we know, and then if he's up there here leading the evacuation, he's gonna hear that. And when they start calling for volunteers with trucks, like, okay, well, this lady called, she's got 3 horses, this is her address. She's gonna probably get the service first because we know she
Okay.
or they need it.
Okay, yeah, the Riverside fire kept coming and going. That was the most bizarre.
So
fire.
coordination is the hardest thing, right? We have a lot of people in the community that have the facilities and the ability to help one another out. The challenge is in a big event like that, like the Fairview Fire, we're trying to keep track of things, and I have to be very specific about who's come and signed in at my command post, who can handle what, and then I can assign an entity to go do something, right?
Okay.
When I have community members, if you will, that are just kind of willy-nilly driving through the community, I then have to divert resources to figure out what's going on with that, and in some cases protect those people kind of from themselves, if you will, right? Whereas there's a process during some of these big events where if you have the ability, training, and so on, and you come check in at one of the command posts, we can give you a job, something for you to do if that's how you want to help. I'm just trying to keep from putting other lives in danger that I had. There's my bird's overhead, or one of the Firebirds is overhead and says, hey, we're gonna do a drop here, but we can't because there's a truck and a trailer and 4 people wandering around it. So they ask us at the command post, what's going on there? And I'm like, I have no idea, I don't have anybody assigned. Then I have to send a couple of my guys into the flames to figure out what's going on with that whole thing. And it turns out, as well-being as they wanted to be, it's just a community member in there that maybe got in, maybe couldn't get out, or is creating some sort of chaos amongst this larger event that we're trying to manage. It's just not helpful, right?
Okay, so the best thing to do is if I see the fire coming, the fire department doesn't have it under control, I call 911 and say, I have kennel license, 25 dogs, I have 5 cats and a pig, I need help.
Yes, and we will then at the command post assign somebody to handle that.
She sent me her whale online.
Yeah.
That freaked me out, and that's when I went all over the unsafe talk. Help, I need someone to take her animals. And then
At that time, I had a horse, a goat, a pig, a lot of dogs. I was doing rescue at that time, I'm not doing that on my phone.
And I understand, again, with the other